Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastra Japatapa Aprana Syaiva Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjana. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya. Those people who don't have devotion to the Lord, Jati, they may have very good birth. Shastra, they may be learned. They may perform japa and tapa austerities. But aprana syaiva dehasya, they will be very focused on a body that has no life. What do you call that? What do you call that? A dead body, right? They'll be focused on a dead body. Mandanam lokar, and they'll be focused on decorating and worshiping that dead body. Mandanam means decorating, lokaranjana. The whole people become greatly happy by that purpose. So, we were talking about Srila Prabhupada saying everybody's got to worship somebody. So this is one kind of worship that we find common within the world. Now, there's another kind of worship that might be called idol worship. Well, I don't know if you know the definition of an idol is something that's an image that doesn't have any real substance, but is an image comes from the idea of imagination. Right? So, but it's given very great reverence and respect. So here we have one such image. You see the people there. There's over 1 million visitors a year at the Statue of Liberty. It might be interesting for you to know. And you know what the saying is at the bottom of the statue? Send me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Send these hopeless masses tossed to me. I will protect them. That's the idea. That's the idea. But in 1986, there was a campaign to raise money for the Statue of Liberty. $265 million was collected to renovate the statue. And then, on July 4th, 1986, there was a birthday party. A birthday party for celebrating the birthday of what the saints for. Next. Of course, here we have our local idol. I don't know if you can recognize this. Rocky. Yeah, it's our local idol. I was surprised when I went to, sometimes we go down there to have the Yatra ceremony, and there's usually a line up to pay homage to Rocky there. And then, of course, next, here we have one of the most famous beings or ideas in the world. Yeah. So remember to our accord. Okay, not yet. But according to our understanding, our nature is to worship. So what is the difference between these kinds of worship and the worship of Jagannath? Although the method is similar, the object is different. It follows. Instead of centering on decaying or preserved remains, one focuses on Jagannath, who is Lord Krishna in his Mahabhava form. The identity of this form of Lord Jagannath with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has been recognized and broadcast by all great enlightened teachers, like Lord Chaitanya, Narad Muni, Ramanujacharya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and the founder Acharya of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada. God or Krishna is a person. Otherwise, how can you love him? It is very difficult to love something vague. Because he's a person, he has form. But his form is different than the forms you find in tombs and mausoleums. It's not material but spiritual. Lord Brahma said, Ishvara Param Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ishvara. Everybody has a certain level of control. But the supreme controller, Ishvara Param, is Krishna. You can change. And his body, Vigraha, is Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full of bliss, and full of knowledge. He doesn't grow old. His body doesn't grow old or die as our bodies do. His appearance and disappearance in the world is just like the sun rising and setting. The sun is always there in the sky, although to our eyes it's not always present. You follow? So, according to theists of all descriptions, God is all-pervading. Another word for that is omnipresent. He is present everywhere by his energy, including in these forms. Some might argue that it's very nice to say that God is this form of Krishna, but let's get practical. How is it that you're saying that the same God that exists as the Supreme Personality and God of the universe exists in the form made of wood or stone? This is certainly a miraculous thing for us to contemplate, but it is not miraculous for Krishna. For Krishna as God can turn matter into spirit as he likes. If Krishna can't do wonderful things, if God can't do wonderful things, how can he be God? You follow? When I was a young boy, when I was in 3rd grade, our class took a trip to see the President of the United States. And he drove up in his limousine, and I was so disappointed. You know why? He was just an old guy in a suit. It was nothing wonderful at all. I was expecting something wonderful. So, but for God to be God, he must be something wonderful. So he can, he is present everywhere by his energy, and more than that, according to Vedic wisdom and great teachers, he personally incarnates in deity forms fashioned not by imagination or speculation, as with idols, but according to the descriptions of his divine form given in the revealed scriptures. Why does he do so? By his kindness. Because we have a difficult time relating to spirit. So just to allow us to have the opportunity to serve and relate to him and love him, and thus to rescue us from being stuck with the hackneyed drudgery of paying homage to dead bodies. There's another point also. Krishna is absolute in another way, or another way of saying it, he's omnipotent. Everything, which means everything related to him, everything related to God, has his divine potency. That means his activities, his instructions, his name, his form, but not any form, but the form of Krishna has the full potency of Krishna himself. So, when you see, glorify, bow down before, remember, offer flowers, or clean, or worship Krishna's form, we are worshiping he himself. As Srila Prabhupada indicated, we must worship someone. So the obvious next question is, where are you going to place your worship so it is the most beneficial to you and everyone else? You follow? Where will you place your worship so it will make you happy and lastingly happy and free from anxiety? That's the question. We're faced with that question every day. So, according to the Vedas, Krishna, Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, is like the root of everything. And if you water the root, all the different leaves and branches of the tree are satisfied. So, what is the goal of our worship? Their goal should be to please the Lord of the universe, or Jagannath. He doesn't need our efforts or service. He's self-satisfied and full in himself. Yet, he likes to see his devotees cooperating in bhakti. So we have, in this Jagannath Rath Yatra festival, we have the opportunity to work together. And by doing so, he will shower us with his boundless transcendental happiness. And the best way, how do you worship? How do we worship? What do you do when you worship? You know, what do people do when they worship? They think about it, right? That's what they call, you call the Lincoln Memorial. What does that mean? Memorial means remember. You remember them. And then you talk about them and say nice things about them, right? You give them something. Or you take a lot of trouble going to see them. These are the aspects of worship. Make an offering. You give a donation. So, and one of the best ways to worship Lord Jagannath and Krishna recommended in the Vedic literature, you have any idea?
Chant the holy names.
Yeah. Chanting the holy name. Forgot? Oh, you. Anyway. What's that? Yeah. There it is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So, when Srila Prabhupada was there in Moscow, he asked Katovsky, he asked him, so where is Lenin now? Where is Lenin now? Because in Bhagavad Gita, I don't know if you know the verse, it goes like this. Yanti deva brata deva. Have you heard this verse? Yanti deva brata devan. Pitrin yanti pitrivrata. Bhutani yanti bhuteja. Madbhaktam yajanopi. Yes. So, those who worship the demigods, devatas, they go to the demigods, right? Those who worship the ancestors, they go to the ancestors. Those who worship the dead people, they go to the dead people. His eternal abode in the spiritual sky. Clutch cars, not automatic. Everybody's got an automatic transmission now. But did you ever remember how they used to jump-start cars? Do you remember that? If the car didn't work, it wouldn't go. But because there was naturally the car could work, when you pop the clutch, it would go. So worship of Krishna, doing Jagannath devotional service, is just like popping the clutch on your natural devotional meaningful by participating fully in this festival. I request each one of you to make it a point to see what you can do to help and support the festival by giving a contribution so that it can run as grandly as befitting the person for whom it is intended. I know that the celebration they had for the Statue of Liberty may not compare with that. That was 295 million. But of the two, who's more important? Lord Jagannath? Who said so? Lord Jagannath. So, thank you very much. Thank you.
Jai Jagannath. Question?
Any question? Yes, sir.
Why do we have it? Why do we bathe Jagannath?
Oh, the bathing.
Yeah.
The bathing. So, everybody, especially in the summertime, people like to take baths.
Every day.
Every day. More than once a day. So, Lord Jagannath also likes to take a bath. And he takes a bath every day, but this is one time where everybody gets to participate for his pleasure and get to participate in that. So, it's one way to please Lord Jagannath. And there's more to it than that, but I'm not going to go into it. Yes. Other question? Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Sri
minutes early.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vishnugada prabhu. That was a very informative talk. We have a new setup today because we're getting ready for the Snana Yatra. So when people come in, they can come in on the ladies' side and the men's side. But don't go past these little stanchions here, just to, guard it off so that they can get ready for the Snana Yatra ceremony. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kick off our 2019 Philadelphia Rath Yatra, which is going to take place on September 20th.